more and more clients are coming to us on the AWS side, and they want to do something cool in AI. And I love that for them. I see the same AI ads on TV at a, NFL game halftime that they do. They want agents. They want something that's live with their data. They want to be able to replace or augment or help their team specialize in this new edge technology. The problem is not only are there some core fundamental processes about how companies have been storing their data, especially successful companies that have been working great for 5, 10, 15 years, who don't have a main reason to change or have done a migration in the past. They're now hitting a brick wall, which is that if you're hosting your data on premises, if all of your expertise and system processes are based around 2 great hires you made 12 years ago who know how to do everything you'll ever need, but don't necessarily have everything written down, you're now starting to realize that there's a lot of work and effort that needs to be put in to make these agents actually smart and ready for you. Oftentimes, we try to go above and beyond as these AWS builders and saying, hey, we know what it means on the technical side, but we also will guide you through that process, and we'll sit in meetings and help you write down the sort of processes you might need and sketch out how you could actually change the way you do your day-to-day to be more accessible and prepared for, successful AI integrations.
One of the biggest challenges that I think your team runs into, Tyler, is that they really need to unlock their data first. And that might be, they have old servers, or they have 40 different software tools that they're buying, and they want to do a lot of cool stuff with that data. But until they actually put it into place, like a data lake or something like that, where it can actually be analyzed, it becomes very difficult to do sort of that next level of really innovative, cool stuff.
Yeah, it can be hard sometimes to say no off the bat when a client comes in and wants something exciting, but they're often surprised when they give us a chance to come in and start to draw out this plan. They might discover that these old enterprise SQL servers they've been running for the last 5 years have been charging them sometimes $10,000 a month, when they could replace that with a $200 or $300 cloud tool, data lake, something serverless that is also more prepared for AI. And that's sometimes how we build our trust early on. We say, hey, we love where you're headed with your roadmap, and we're going to get you there. But along the way, actually, if you take this journey with us, that's not the only thing. We'll figure out these tasks and improvements along the way that we always feel really happy with when we can come in and say, hey, we're gonna be able to provide this new cutting edge application, and we're also gonna lower your monthly charge. I'm always so happy we get to have those meetings and those results.
One of the places that as a company, I think, we're going is moving very quickly to help customers build solutions like that. It's more and more common that we do have customers that realize that they're ready to step up sort of to the next level. They see the promise that AI can bring to their business or to their organization, but they then realize that they've hit a bit of a wall in terms of their overall infrastructure. If it's not on the cloud, or if it's not easily sort of integrated with those new tools, it becomes very difficult for them to move as fast as the business would like to move. And so I think a lot of where we're going to be going over the next 2 or 3 years as a company is unlocking the data first, and especially when you start talking about AI and how do you make sure the data is used in a responsible way and kept within the walled garden of each of our customers' infrastructures and kept private. That data kind of has to be unlocked in the sense of integrated and put into a spot that we can then leverage these tools that are all compliant and secure and so on and so forth to do the things that they're looking to do.
Yeah, and I don't fault companies who come in and sometimes have some real skepticism over what these rebuilds look like. They say, well, what do you mean I'm not ready? What do you mean it's gonna take this whole reset process? What's the big deal about security at some of these data systems? And I don't blame them. They're sold this package of goods that says, hey, we've got softwares, we're ready to go. And we want to offer, saying, hey, we'll get you everything that you dreamed of, but we want to do this responsibly and correctly.
Yeah.
One thing I am excited for on the technical end, something that we've seen as we've walked through our own AI journey, is our first AI project, and I loved it, but it was 6 months, it was painful, and there were always limits when we were working with the foundation models, trying to hook up these infrastructure systems, added costs because of networking and other pieces that just frankly weren't in place yet. And that was across cloud, that was across systems, across foundation models. This was a universal problem. I'd say our most recent projects and systems, and hey there, Chip, how's it going, buddy? Hey, our most recent engagements.
Speaking of security,
I know, right,
here it
right. He's
comes.
ready to go. Yeah. So our most recent engagements, we've been able to cut that lead time and be turning out better projects in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Maybe 3 months to production, and we're cutting against that grain of the 95% of AI projects. Don't make it into production, aren't in use. We're super proud to have real production projects like running and in the works, and we think being able to cut down on that time to like your first production use is something that is coming around, and something that is only going to improve. On the data angle about security, one thing that is opening up new opportunities for successful MVPs is the creation of, or the opening up of some of these, like, I call them AI spaces. Sometimes technical people might call them like an MCP server system, or a couple of different kind of enterprise data systems. But something like Amazon QuickSight now has these spaces where you can say, hey, I've got my vector stores and RAG knowledge bases. I've got all of my stuff on SharePoint or S3 or Google Workspaces. And I kind of just want this to quote unquote work. And for the first time now, you can roll out with a hackathon with their team and ours, and you can have all of your main data sources hooked up, plugged in, and you're able to give an agent that is yours secure content and access to these spaces. And that's something that we're excited to spend more time on and start deploying more and more to production.
I would say that one of the challenges for customers is, you touched on this, the idea that they are going to have to build a little more modern infrastructure and do a bunch of the legwork up front to get ready to use some of these cool new tools, especially if they want to do it in a way that's responsible, but also keeps their data secure and follows whatever regulations that they have to follow as an organization. Oftentimes customers don't anticipate that that's going to be part of a project, where they're just saying, hey, we want to build this AI tool, but there's actually, if you want to build it in the right way, a bunch of steps that have to happen before then to make sure that you do it in the way that delivers, to their expectations from security and regulations and everything else that they're looking to follow.